Right now we are in one of our greenhouses that we have built, and we are now launching it. The drip irrigation system is still being assembled and installed, but it will soon start to perform the irrigation function. So dear friends, today I want to tell you about our farm greenhouse that we are making for business. The greenhouse business is a fairly profitable enterprise in the sphere of agriculture. Due to its high profitability and quick payback, the greenhouse industry is now expanding quite rapidly. What is the attractiveness of the greenhouse business? Given that dollar exchange rate against hryvnia in Ukraine has made a huge leap, it hit the consumer's pocket on the one hand, and on the other hand, it made our products quite competitive. Turkish and Polish producers of green products have left our market, so farm greenhouses began to grow like mushrooms after rain. So now we are in one of our greenhouses, which we have already made and are now launching it. This process is quite interesting on the one hand and laborious on the other one. This is a farmer's greenhouse measuring 8 by 50. It is meant for a double inflatable film. The double film allows you to create an inter-film space using air inflation, and it can be up to 30-40 centimeters. This significantly reduces the heat loss of the structure itself. The air layer retains heat much better and increases the rigidity of the entire supporting structure. Here is our greenhouse. Here is the film. It is located at a distance of about 15-20 centimeters from the main frame, and it is inflated like a drum. Due to this, even when it hails, it simply springs. And that is the advantage of an inflatable film, because even such challenging elements as hail are not a problem for such greenhouse that simply bounces off, jumps off. Despite being made of film, this greenhouse retains heat very well. Each arch here is made in the form of a truss, that is, 2 parallel pipes are connected by crossbars. A truss, as you know, has a much higher load-bearing capacity than a single pipe. Therefore, such structure has a very high load-bearing capacity. Our greenhouse can be open on the sides. That is, this greenhouse has 2 side vents that allow the lower part to be open to a height of 1.5 meters. That's very good in summer. When our greenhouse starts to overheat, the sides are opened and the air circulates freely, and the hot air is thrown out through the end vents. Thus, the greenhouse does not overheat and the temperature inside and outside the greenhouse is approximately the same. Moreover, due to the constant air circulation, the greenhouse feels much cooler. This greenhouse has a rigging system where all the equipment is hung up. Additionally, the upper part is separated from the greenhouse with agritextile. So, agritextile now performs a double function in this greenhouse. On the one hand, it protects it from the increased heat loss. That is, we get a greenhouse in a greenhouse. On the other hand, it acts as a raincoat. As there is always water formed, soon this water starts to drip. And the agritextile takes this water on, and it either flows down or, due to the small pores, it is sprayed. That is, it turns almost into a fog. Therefore, the plants are not afraid of drops, as is usually the case in all the greenhouses. There, due to the cold air outside and the heat inside the greenhouse, there is a dew point and condensate is formed. And this condensate is constantly dripping onto the plants. It does not happen this way in our greenhouse due to the fact that the upper dome is cut off from us. Why else do we use agri-textile for covering? Agri-textile breathes, that is, all the steam rises up, it passes through the agri-textile and accumulates at the top. Therefore, condensate does not form on the agri-textile here, it only forms above the agri-textile. And this greenhouse feels quite good inside. Next, this greenhouse has all the infrastructure for the normal operation in winter. That is, there is lighting here. It is made in the form of sodium lamps, which perform the main additional lighting. And plus combined with LED lighting. We saturate it with blue and red spectrum for plants. Moreover, in automatic mode in winter, the LEDs work from morning till night. They consume little, but at the same time they give a certain amount of photosynthetically active radiation even during the day. Even if it is cloudy, the greenhouse still has enough light for photosynthesis, and sodium lamps perform the main additional lighting. Here we have raised beds and drip irrigation. Drip irrigation here is precisely point to point, that is, water is supplied to each bush, both for additional protection of the soil and to keep the roots warm, that is, there is warm soil here, plus we see that the agri-textile itself also additionally insulates the root system. Here is the atomizer that creates fogging. It allows you to cover an area of up to 2 square meters. Now we have turned on the atomizers. We are getting a little wet, but I wanted to tell you, fogging has several functions. The first one, to humidify the greenhouse. We are lowering the temperature due to the fog in the greenhouse. The second one is additional feeding of plants, which require not only root nutrition, but foliar nutrition as well. This is very good for cucumbers. Now we are growing cucumbers, and periodic fogging allows us to, so to speak, water the plants additionally. And the third one, of course, is humidification itself, that is increasing the humidity in the greenhouse. Sometimes, especially in summer, or when it is quite dry, it is necessary to raise the humidity, because the plants will simply start to dry out. And as for the cucumbers, when the humidity is low, we see that their leaves droop. We need to increase the humidity. Here, due to fogging, we increase the humidity in the greenhouse. That is, fog performs 3 functions. This is temperature, lowering the temperature. This is additional feeding. And this is the humidification of the greenhouse itself. Here is the automation system, the brains of this greenhouse. It controls the lighting, inflation system, and fogging system, which can operate in a variety of modes. That is, in terms of humidity, temperature, and time mode. And you can turn it on manually. Plus drip irrigation, plus automation for heating control. That is, temperature control and everything else. Due to this automation, the control of the main functions of the greenhouse gets automated. And it is enough just to monitor the growth of plants in your plants. And we eliminate the so-called weak human factor of the greenhouse control. We install, configure, and launch all these systems, and we also train personnel to work with them. In fact, the profitability of this structure is quite high. But you should bear in mind that the structure is just a structure. It is just iron, metal, film, and everything else. The main profitability is based on agronomy, on the cultivation technology. Due to the technology, due to the agronomists, a good harvest is gathered in. It requires knowledge. Therefore, in order to launch such structures, you must have good agronomic knowledge, or you must have a good agronomist. It was Alexander and the company teplitca. Have good harvests and see you soon.